Reports reveal that earlier today, Bernie Sanders met with House Democrats, gave a presentation, and received a bad response, I'll just say, including the possibility that he was actually booed by his colleagues in the House. So this is a write-up from anonymous sources. Some have been named, some are anonymous, by Politico. And this first section that I want to read for you, I love the framing from Politico on this. Or at least Politico's understanding of the way that House Democrats look at Sanders and what he's proposed should happen going forward. Sanders also stunned some of the Democrats in attendance when he told them that winning elections wasn't the only thing they should focus on. While they wanted to hear about how to beat Donald Trump and how Sanders might help them win the House back, he was talking about remaking the country. I love the idea that they would literally be stunned that their electoral success is not the literal only thing that anyone in this country should worry about.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it because it gives you an exact sense of where the politicians are and where we are. So Bernie Sanders is with us, the progressives, the people. That's why so many liked him. That's why the independents liked him. That's why people that were high information voters liked him. And it's because he's saying, no, we got to transform the country. We got to care about policy. We've got to get to the right end goals. Whereas the rest of the politicians are only concerned with one thing, themselves. What do you mean? Of course, the only thing that matters is whether I get to retain my power by being reelected. The fact that Bernie Sanders would suggest anything else stuns them.
Yeah.
They literally, they don't see.
Literally stunned.
They don't get it. They're like, what? Yeah. Like, you're not a sellout like us? Like, that only cares about your own power? I'm stunned by that. Like, you actually care about the things we talk about on TV, like as if we care, but you actually care about them? I'm stunned by that. Like, they are shaken. Like, what in the world? Here's a guy who's a representative trying to represent people. Yeah. This is stunning.
And here is a crazy thought for some of these Democrats. Maybe if you push for these wildly popular policy proposals, you'll win re-election.
Yeah, well,
I know that's crazy. And it makes you wonder, they're so scared about losing their seats. They choose the policies that they push for, and they apparently have no confidence that the actions they're taking will result in them winning elections. Maybe you should switch up the actions then.
That's exactly what Sanders says in a little bit, but I want to give you more. Sanders at one point apparently said the goal isn't to win elections, the goal is to transform America. And that's where they were like, according to multiple lawmakers and aides in the room, they booed him. Some Democrats booed Sanders.
It's possible that some were saying boo Ernie instead of boo.
So
one man said that he was saying boo Ernie.
He's saying, hey guys, we should care about what we claim is our policy objectives. They're like, boo, boo, sit down, sit down. No, we should only care about ourselves. They booed policy. All the things that they tell you they care about, they booed it. So, gee, I wonder why people don't trust the Democratic Party anymore. I can't quite tell.
Yeah.
And, God, this is so telling. Okay. One senior Democrat apparently said, speaking on the condition of anonymity, because he knows that, well, the jig will be up if I say what a sellout I am, et cetera. So he says, it was frustrating because he's squandering the movement he built with a self-obsession that was totally on display.
They're the self-obsessed ones. They're literally saying my re-election is the only thing that matters in the cosmos.
No, the projection is record-breaking. They're like, how dare you not focus on me and my re-election? I find that stunning. Look at how egocentric this guy is.
He's so self-obsessed.
But he says, I know I'm not going to win the election. It's not like that's what this is about. They know, the House Democrats know that's not what it's about. So how could it be egocentric of Bernie Sanders?
It's amazing.
Okay, so then I also loved that Sanders, according to the people inside the building, inside the room, was, quote, unapologetic.
I find that easy to believe. Hold on.
And they said, quote, he didn't yield an inch. That's why we love him.
You gotta hear this quote. This is, again, from a Democratic source. To say, as he did, that the goal is not to win elections, but for people to embrace his ideas is disconnected from what we are trying to do here.
Exactly! Exactly!
They're being honest for once. We have to give them some respect for that, I guess.
Yeah, so there is the House
Connect
Democrats.
with ideas.
By the way, understand that an overwhelming majority of House Democrats endorse Hillary Clinton. Now, you know why. Because they're all in it for themselves. So here they're saying, your goal is not my personal power, but these policy ideas you speak of? Unacceptable. And of course they boo him.
Now, Representative Jerry Connolly tweeted out that the political story is false. Bernie was respectfully received by caucus. Some disagreements, yes, but a friendly venue. They were not booing, although there are still scattered accounts of chairs being thrown.
I don't believe
he says, but when Bernie Sanders was on Wolf Blitzer, and they talk about they get into the topic of the booing, Bernie's response of like the laughter, like, yeah, it appears that he was booed.
Yeah. And so, look, first of all, there's no need for a debate about whether somebody technically booed or not, because the reaction in the room was clear. A very, very negative reaction. No one disputes that. So some polite applause, and obviously he's got a couple of members of the Progressive Caucus who are on his side. But overall, the room was symbolically yelling at him like, what's wrong with you? One of them said, when are you going to run as a Democrat? This is the Democratic caucus. Like, we're not here for progressives, okay, in policy. We're here for Team Democrat, okay? And there's some idiot supporters, by the way, a lot of voters out there who are like, oh, yeah, that's right. He's not a Democrat. He actually cares about liberals and progressives and policy. When we should all be bowing down to a Democratic Party and our leaders and going, Democrats, I'm with you, I'm with you. They think that that's a smart thing to do.
Another Democrat was so dissatisfied with the presentation that he said, thank God it's Bernie and we don't have to pay $250,000 for this speech.
Pretty sure they didn't say
no,
that.
I don't think they said
Finally, I want to come back to John's point, which is Bernie said near the end of the talk, he's like, look, if you actually serve the voters, you might actually get what you want anyway. You might win more elections, not less elections. I love that that's a revolutionary idea. I mean, you can tell how broken and corrupt this system is, that when you tell representatives that maybe they should represent their voters, they're like, what a crazy idea. Looney Tunes over here. No, we represent the donors and our own asses, and that's it.
That's it.
And so if Washington was unclear about why we like Bernie Sanders and what's wrong with them, this is the perfect example of it. And yet they will look at this and they will not see that. No. Most of Washington and New York, the people in power, will look at this story and go, look at how unreasonable Bernie Sanders is. You just don't get it, and you're not going to get it until the roof falls on top of your head.